welcome to the first episode of Charley We Moved, a podcast where we share real life experience of moving from Ghana to different parts of the world. If you've ever wondered how it's like to start a life in a new country, overcoming cultural shock, and finding new opportunities, this is the podcast for you.
So we are your hosts. My name is Elsie. On my left is Ralph, and then we have Lady Flowrish. We are here to tell you about our journeys, the ups, the downs, and give you a little bit of insight of our life and our journey so far from Ghana to the Netherlands.
Exactly, so if you're curious about how our journey started and how far we have come and want to know more about things that happen here, stick with us, subscribe, and enjoy the ride. Let's do this. So first of all, there were two reasons why I moved. First was for the advancements in career, where I needed a bit much more education, so I found the opportunity to come to school. Secondly, I was just so tired. I needed an environmental change, so plan to make that move.
I think the last bit of what you said is what I see in common, because I also felt stuck. I also wanted to move for a career change and to advance my career, and the only way I thought it's wise to do as at then was through education. So and I guess that is where we met. Yep. And for Florence, I think we were in the same high school.
We were in the same high school.
She was in business, and then I was in general arts. So it was a very good coincidence. So for me, I would reiterate, it was to for a career change, to further my career, and the only way to do it was through education, and that was what brought me to the Netherlands.
I think I'm the only odd one here because I moved because of my ex-boyfriend.
That's a story you want to hear. Yes, nice.
Yeah, because he lived in the UK and he was moving to the Netherlands. And we've gotten to the point that we're ready to take a step further. We're ready to settle, like get married. And he told me it's impossible to have a successful marriage with so much distance between us. So he would love me to move to the Netherlands because he was coming here. And we couldn't marry from Ghana because he was coming here also as an immigrant. So we thought it's wise that since I already have my bachelor's degree, why don't I just apply for master's degree, and we could end up together like that. But God being so good, we didn't marry. The marriage didn't happen. But in all, I have zero regrets. I'm happy I moved. I am happy I took this step. It's the best decision I've ever made in my life.
And that's a really good one here for us, because I got to know much more about where you are now, which we're going to say for the viewers for the next episode. However, let's delve into our first impressions as to what we felt. What was your first impression when you came to the Netherlands?
Well, my first impression was wow, beautiful. Because I came on the 1st of January, so that was just after Christmas. And there were so many Christmas trees, there were lights all over. I just wanted to take pictures because the airport was really beautiful. I've never seen such an airport, so I was just running from spot to spot, making pictures and videos. It was a great experience when I just came. But my cultural shock was a friend invited me out to a birthday party. You know, in Ghana, when you hear of party, you are thinking music, you are thinking food, you are thinking everything fun. So I went ready. I hadn't eaten. I went with my whole stomach. There were they were giving me chips and cheese and sausages. So yeah, I was still waiting. We're just sitting like how we are sitting now. They asked if I wanted a coffee or tea. I don't drink coffee, so I opted for tea. I had my tea in my hand, and they just kept coming round with cheese, chips, sausages, you name it. I got hungry and I asked my friend, what's up? Where is the food? When does the food come? And she was like, food?
Sorry.
There's no food. So yeah, long story short, I really had to leave the party early because that was no party, that was just a sitting, right? Back home when you have a funeral,
Back home, funerals are like parties, yeah, yeah, really, really big.
no, like the sitting was so boring, yeah, like somebody just died and everybody's mourning.
Yeah, but that is how they have their parties. Their parties is sitting down, everybody chatting with each other, no music, just catching up on their lives and whatever they want to talk about. Eat chips and cheese and that is all.
It was. I was in shock, knowing that was a party.
Yeah.
It felt like a funeral meeting.
Yeah.
So
I can understand, but I have gotten accustomed to it. For me, the cultural shock was the time. The Dutch people are very timely, unlike where we come from in Ghana, and it is something I'm struggling with, especially with my partner. It's a big challenge because I've lived my whole life in Ghana. I lived about 30 years of my life in Ghana, knowing that we don't really abide to timeliness, and knowing the Dutch and how timely they are, it's a big adjustment to me. But now I'm much better compared to when I came here. And also another cultural shock for me was everybody being minding their own business, keeping to themselves. Thank you, Florence. Yeah, keeping to themselves. Not everybody would like to say hi or smile, at you, but it is something I had to adjust to and learn the hard way, because most people, as at then where I used to live, I see them on the roadside and they are closed, no smiles, nothing. You visibly smile at them and they just look straight forward where they are going and ignore you like you were not even around or by their side. So it is something that is difficult, but I had to get used to it.
Yeah, and you mentioned how Dutch people keep their time.
Yes.
I also had a problem with that with my husband, and I was complaining to my sister that this man is so impatient. But he's not. That is how he was brought up.
Yes.
But now, yeah.
It is something I still struggle with my husband as well, because he picks me up from work and he knows that I close at 4. So for him, by 4 I should be out. But then I would need maybe like 5 minutes to park, and it's an ongoing struggle. So yes, I think hopefully one day we will get used to it. But it's not that he's impatient, as you said, but that is what I thought, and I still think. But as you've rightly mentioned, it's something he's grown up with, and this is something we've also grown up with. So we need to tolerate each other and get used to
also, when we just came, when we had just arrived in Webster, we had to meet with Dr. Fan.
Yeah.
And this lady, we were like 50 people, and she sent us the outline and everything. Maybe she puts your name, Elsie, 12:30, and the next person, Ralph, 12. Like your session is ending at 12:30, and then the following person, Ralph, 12:30.
Yeah.
So we were like, the Africans, they were like, this woman, did she anticipate, or maybe 1 minute in between something could happen? You could go to the washroom and maybe wait some 2 minutes. Would she take a break for coffee or water?
Yeah.
Like, it was shocking, but yeah, that is just how they are.
So guys, if
Yeah,
you are
time is
willing to
time.
move, 5 o'clock is 5 o'clock,
o'clock.
not 5:01. So you'll
No.
be there 15 minutes before time, 10 minutes before time,
You
or
are
5
late.
minutes before time. If not, you are late.
Yeah.
Yes, Ralph.
Okay. Well, I mean, for me, the first impression, I think it happened before I even left. When I was at the airport, my bags weighed a bit over the 23 kilos or
23, yeah.
23.
So it was a bit over, and I had quite a number of jackets in it. So, well, my uncle was like, you know what?
Yeah, I
We
have a
can-
jacket story after.
we can't let nobody's going to use a jacket back home, so they have to go. It's like, okay, you know what do we do then? He said, just wear them. They are clothes, wear them. So I like 7 jackets. I put them all on at the airport.
For real?
I was 7 jackets, and these were not like just shirt jackets. These are like winter jackets. So I was really puffed up. Immediately I got to the security area, when the man just was like, oh, where you all coconut? Where you all coconut?
At least he didn't say Antarctica.
And I'm in one. I was like, oh, we'll stand up. And you have to take off all your clothes to the bare minimum of what you're wearing before you go through. So my thing was completely racked, like it was as if a mountain of clothes, just jackets, were to go through the security. So when I got there, I think it was like 10 degrees when I came in October thereabout. But I was freezing. Unlike today where we've mastered the weather, 10 degrees you can just
You
wear
were freezing
t-shirt.
with 7 jackets.
I was freezing when I got out of there. So you know, in Schiphol, the train station is just down.
Yeah.
But when I was getting out from HS, when I was getting, because you have to now leave the train station, that was where it hit me, because I was freezing. When I got out, I was like, bro, you're wearing like 7 But yeah, so that was the first thing that hit me. It was both the first impression and a culture shock all at once. Before I came to the food, yeah. But you know, the food really didn't shake me too much because I barely go out anywhere. So I barely get that much of the cheese and bread. I only cook my own rice. But what I was really missing was udum fufu, you know, something, zeme banku, those kind of things, which you wouldn't get here. Even if you try to do your own fufu and stuff, it's not the same. So those were the two culture shocks and first impression. I think we have a lot of struggles that we had over here. Elsie, do you mind sharing your struggle, your biggest struggle?
My struggle was one, I had a daughter before I left. She was 2 years when I left Ghana, so that was my biggest struggle, leaving my 2-year-old daughter behind and starting afresh in a different country, especially not speaking their language. And also, my biggest struggle was coming from being the head of my department in the bank I used to work for at that time, and coming to Netherlands to clean people's homes and work odd jobs like work in the restaurants. It was a very big struggle because you have to be mentally strong to be able to do that, because it really hit me hard. There were times that I cried, apart from the fact that I'm missing my daughter, apart from the fact that I wasn't financially stable, and then I had to find my feet. It was a very big struggle. The loneliness kicked in. You know, if you are not mentally strong, you would pack your things and leave. I remember at a point in time, I felt that I had to go back home. I had a friend back in Germany. He had been here, I think, a year or two before I moved to the Netherlands. So we kept in touch when I came, and he used to call me. His name is Kwame. Kwame would call me and say, Elsie, are you okay? And till date, Kwame confided in me and told me that, Elsie, I thought you would give up and go back, because he understood what I was going through.
Yeah.
And mind you, I had taken loans from some financial institutions, and they were chasing me back then. You know, when you are moving to a different country, I mean, you are in Ghana, you are moving to Abuja, everybody thinks that the moment you arrive, everything goes well. So the notion was, when I move, I'll get a job, I will pay and everything. But my guys, and Nigerian man would say no be beans.
No beans.
No be beans. It wasn't easy because these people were chasing you, the interest rates were piling up, and then because I used to work at the bank, they had faith in me to give them money, and they were going to the bank to make noise and be like, hey, your colleague hasn't paid us, and
oh my God.
It was a nightmare. So combined with the stress here, combined with my new reality of being a cleaner, combined with my reality of being a restaurant worker, working 7 days a week, you had school assignments and going to classes. It was really difficult. It was really, really difficult because at a point in time I couldn't also really provide for my daughter because it was the start. It was a very big challenge. The school fees too was because the money you paid was just the initial deposit, so continuing you still had to pay the rest of the school fees. So it was a very big challenge, but all in all, it was perseverance that brought me this far. I was determined to take charge of my life. I was determined to change the narrative. I was determined to make it so that my hard work wouldn't be in vain. So yeah, these were my struggles, and at a point in time, the houses I was cleaning, luckily they were very welcoming, they were very nice, and it took me, I was telling Ralph and Flo just a couple of minutes ago that it took me back to when there was a cleaner in my bank, and he was very old, like a much older man. He would come to me every day and say, hey Elsie, today I have no food to eat. I would say to Elsie, and I could feel it. And sometimes I would either give him money or just give him my lunch to eat because I could afford it then. And to find myself in this position, in the same position, and people being kind to me, it made me realize the impact of being kind to everybody at any stage of your life. You might not know the impact your hi, your hello, your the little you do for someone, even just how you will go a long way to make someone's day better, to make someone's life better, because I experienced it, and I would not take that for granted. So if you are watching us, going out of your way to say hi, to say hello to the cleaner at your office, to whoever, you don't know their stories, you don't know where they are coming from, a little kindness will go a long way, because it did so much for me. So
which is true, because I remember during school time we used to talk like almost every day when we were doing our assignments together, because we needed that mental support.
In fact, this whole idea of the podcast, I was telling my husband, came
when we were having a conversation,
and I was cleaning. I was vacuuming and the noise, and so
By then I had just moved to Belgium.
I think it was a 3-way conversation that day.
That
was when I remember that particular call. That was when
I remember the house I was cleaning.
You were at the staircase at that time.
Exactly.
When Elsie spoke about the fact that I was correcting her on the correct pronunciation of pepper. I remember that conversation very well. She was like, Ralph, say pepper, pepper, get a pepper. Oh my God. I remember that conversation very well. But I feel one of our biggest struggles also was the fees. The fees was such a nightmare.
I remember each course, we had 12 courses in total. Every course was 2,800 euros. I would never forget 2,800 euros. And if you sum that up and also include your plane tickets, your everything, it was, I think the whole school fees was about 32,000 euros. And if you ask me how I paid, I can't tell you.
I don't think I'm the only one who experienced this, because before we came, they told us we had, maybe just me, I was made to understand I had 50% scholarship.
Yes.
I had
That's-
about 20%.
So I know I was supposed to
Scholarship
pay like what 16,000 and taking the deposit of 10,000.
10,000.
I knew I had only
Yeah, it's the
6,000.
same for me.
For
Yes.
me to get the shock of
Of
my
your
life,
life,
that I
yes.
was going to pay like 60 every semester.
Yes,
That was
yes,
crazy.
indeed.
That was
Yeah.
really, really crazy.
Yeah.
That was one of my biggest struggles.
And the benevolence of the people I met. I mean, say what you want about the Dutch people, but I met some
They can
amazing
be
Dutch
kind.
people.
Yeah.
Because I remember in 2021 December, all the people I cleaned their house, everybody gave me money towards paying my fees.
Oh wow.
Yes, even the
That's
people,
some
my
money.
housemates. I remember one girl, she came to the house to live for about just 3 months. Her mom visited her from Germany, and when the mom left for my Christmas gift, I got 300 euros
Oh
from her.
my.
Yes, and these monies paid my
Your fees,
my
yeah.
fees. And the last bit of my fees, I remember it was about 3,000 euros. I didn't know how to pay. The restaurant I was cleaning, Hi Rob, he gave me that money to pay and then work and pay
Him back.
him back. Until now, I still have a little bit to pay. But it's like, yeah, take your time and pay, So say what you want to say about the Dutch, but I have met amazing people who were so kind to me. So for me, kindness, wherever I go. I was lucky, or I would say that, not to blow my own trumpet, but I've been nice to whoever I met, no matter the level of life they are in. But me being in the Netherlands has given me more, it's empowered me to be more
More
kinder.
reason.
Yeah, it's giving me more reason to be kinder to people, no matter where they are, whoever they are in life. Yeah, because kindness has brought me to where I am.
For me, one of my struggles was finding an apartment. Because as I said earlier, I was supposed to meet my then boyfriend here. So he told me everything is ready. I didn't look for an apartment or anything. Just for him to tell me at the airport that whoever we pay to get us the apartment did not get us the apartment. So I had to go to a hotel. So I stayed in a hotel for 3 months, exhausted all my money. I would cry. I cannot talk about that.
Is that the same hotel close to my house?
Yes.
Okay.
No, not that hotel.
It's a different
Not that
one.
hotel.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
hotel that you pay weekly,
Oh, okay.
No?
like a normal hotel. And that story we'll leave it for another day. And my other struggle was finding a job, because our student visa didn't come with work permit. So you actually have to find a company that is willing to sponsor you, not your visa, but work permit. And there are so many people in this country with work permits that are looking for a job. So why would a company want to waste money on you and give you a work permit?
And just to chip in, sorry, but we're just giving 16 hours a week.
Hours a week.
So which company would want to give you work permit for just 16 hours a week? It didn't make sense.
That was nothing. And when I was coming, I really didn't consult my family before going through the process. So bothering them every time for money for my rent, because at this point the relationship between my ex and I had gone left, so I was on my own. I had to be calling my sisters almost every week to send me money. And imagine changing 5,000 cedis to euros. That is nothing. And I have like 100 euros. And that 100 euros we just pay for my hotel for like a week. So I met a friend in school, and he was telling me, yeah, you are a woman, but, and I know it's going to be, he has already been here, he has an experience, he's looked for a job, he knows everything. So he told me the only thing I think you can do is delivery. I'll help you register for Uber, and you would have to use a bike. I'm like, a bike? Like, if I'm actually bike, I'll call that. I know how to ride a bike, but when we were kids, he said, okay, I'm sure you can still do it. I'll help you. So this guy has really been nice to me, Jones. So he took me around, he showed me the way. This is a bicycle path, this is for pedestrians, this is for cars. And this guy actually helped me register me for Uber. And I might say, I'm not going to insensitive, but Corona was good to me. Corona took a lot from people, took families and messed with people's job, but Corona was actually good to me. Because of Corona, we're not supposed to go to class, everything was online. Could you believe everything I did, every class I had was on my bike? So I'll be in class whilst I'm working as a delivery person. I am riding and I have my headphone in my ears and I don't participate. Thank God for Corona. Nobody hears of me. I'm not sure people even know who Florence is because I don't go anywhere.
I second that. I remember when Florence used to do that in class. They would actually, when they break us out into meetings and Florence happens to be in my group, and we will ask for Florence's input. Not a word. She's always on mute, and then she'll pretend to send a text into like a chat and be like, "Can you guys hear me? I'm talking." Meanwhile, she's definitely not talking about anything.
I am on my bike. I had no relationship, no friends, and I'm sure my friends back home would feel certain type of way because we're so close. And all of a sudden you move, and we are not hearing from you. And today I want to say, it was not just a decision that I had to make to cut people off. I am 13 hours a day on the bicycle. How am I going to communicate with people? It was impossible to have a relationship. And if you are on a bike, texting, typing, even on a phone, you could get fined. And it is not even safe. So I can't talk about it, but it was really hard. You need to pay your fees, which were very expensive. You need to pay for your room. And it is just a small room, and you are paying like 500, 600 euros. You need to feed. See, it's a struggle. Before you move, I just want you to know that you should be ready, mentally ready, financially ready, everything ready, because you are going to go through it. But if you are able to stand tall, you also come out successful. I have no regrets. I love all my experiences because had it not been this country, I wouldn't know I have certain abilities, certain strength. I wouldn't know I was this strong. Yeah.
Well, I think one of the other struggles I had is after school. So after school we have this, let's say it's a law or rule where you get a new visa, which is the Seche visa, and you get to stay in the country for 1 year where you're allowed to work full time. But after the year, you're supposed to make sure you get a company that is willing to sponsor you after the Zugia. And that's what the struggle is. So once, immediately you start searching for the job, once recruiters get to know that all you have is a year, or the only time you have is a year, you are even on the Zugia or the Seche visa, forget it. You are not getting that job. And it took me so long. I went for countless interviews. I sent countless applications. I did everything, but look, it was so hard landing a job. It will eat at your mental health. It will eat at everything you've got. I don't even know how I was able to still stay strong and mentally stable up until this point. But that is something you have to be, especially if you're coming to the Netherlands. I can't know much about other countries, but if you're looking to travel elsewhere, immediately you start planning or settling on a country, make sure you research into the aftermath of your schooling, how you're going to get to stay, if you really want to stay. I mean, if you don't want to stay and just there for the education, you can just go back. But if you're really looking forward to staying behind, once you're planning on the school, just be thinking of your aftermath as well. Like after school, how you're going to stay. Don't just say, okay, after school, I'm going to search for a job. Like, we all thought that. And it was the biggest reality check we had.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
I think we have to do a whole episode.
There's going to be a
complete
episode on that. Because there are so many stories about that. And golfing, that's a whole topic on its own. It could even take a whole season, but we are very smart, so we can make just an episode. So, yeah. I mean, that's it from my end. So, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, this episode is already too long, so I think we should just do it the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this has been a very beautiful first episode. What do you think, Elsie?
Yeah, I think this episode is to introduce you guys, as we said from the beginning, about our journey, and we just summarize our struggles, our cultural shocks. So moving forward, we will take every part of the journey and dissect into it, just like Ralph said. His struggle with finding a job, the language barriers. We will be here to inform you so you get prepared, and for those who have made up their minds to move, you would have your information right and have your facts right and decide if you indeed want to move to be an expert here in the Netherlands, just like we are.
So I actually thought this episode was going to be short, but it ended up being such a long episode because these are real life stories. These are experiences that we have had. So it's impossible to make it short, even though we try to
Summarize it.
Yeah. There is so much to talk about. So just keep your eyes, your ears, and your fingers here, and subscribe, like, and share. Invite people. If you know of anyone who wants to move to the Netherlands or any part of the world.
Yes.
Because I believe this experience, it's not only related to the Netherlands, but all over the world.
Yes, indeed. So follow us on our social media. You can also send us email. Go to our social media pages. You would find it there. And moving forward, we'll have interactive sessions with you. If you have questions for those who want to move to Netherlands or even any parts of the world, we'll be here to give you first-hand information.
Exactly. And our next episode is going to be on things we wish we knew before we moved here to the Netherlands. So if you want to know all the juicy details about things you have to know before moving, and not just to the Netherlands, moving to any other country, because these stories are very relatable.
Yeah.
You always just have to subscribe, you have to like, you have to keep attentive to our pages, because we are going to just keep dropping them like a
Sharing.
hot. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us in this first episode. We love you so much, so please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. Invite other people to watch this video.
And tell everyone, Charley,
We moved!